Okay, so we are going to move on to the disk tool. And so in the window that we draw it out in, the first part of the disk it draws out is a circular portion. Okay, and then we go into this window and we click, and now we can make something that looks kind of like a pop can. Okay, so it's like a cylinder. So the thing is that you don't have to necessarily use the whole thing. Now watch this. Let's go undo. Let's go back to disk. Okay. Now normally we press space bar, after we've made our cylinder. Okay. But if we move over here and go disk, and I hit space bar, look what it does. All it does is it just makes the disk portion. So depending on what you're doing with this, it could be used for something else completely different. Okay, so don't think that you're just stuck with that. It's just the same thing as the box tool. You don't have to make a box. Okay, undo. You can just draw out a polygon, like a box style polygon, and then that's it. Press the space bar and that's it. Okay, so like I said, there's different things that you can actually do with this. While we're actually talking about that, let's go to the ball tool and watch what happens. Let's just get okay, and let's hit the space bar, and look, it basically does the same thing as the disk tool. Okay, the only difference is that when you extrude it out, it creates a sphere. In this case here, it actually draws out straight polygons. So there's sort of those two tools, the ball tool and the disk tool, are kind of variations of each other. Okay. So what we're going to do very quickly, let's hit the disk tool again. Numeric. Let's move this over. Okay. Pop that up. And maybe we'll just bring this in the center. Okay, now if you look at the axes section, notice it changes the actual physical position, okay, in which the that round polygon is facing. Notice it makes a funny looking sort of more of an egg shape when we hit the X one, because it's still basing it on the height parameters that have been pushed in here or typed in here or stretched out, dragging these things out. So if I drag that out, change it up, see, now it's changed again. So some different things you can fool around with. So that you got the same functions as well. Again, you got, you can add sides. Okay. Instead of having to try to model some of this stuff by hand, you can use some of these pre-made shapes to actually generate some stuff fairly quickly. So you also have segments. Okay, and if you look right here, see how we're adding more segments to our shape. Let's get this back into a cylinder again, just for fun. Okay, so if we want this rounder, obviously, the more segments we need. Okay, bring them back. It's kind of blocky. if you're rendering this inside of layout and you need it perfectly smooth and round, you're going to have to bump this stuff up. Okay, otherwise you're going to have these little funky edges here, and you don't want that. Okay, so we also have the same thing as before. We can move this around using these blue little crosshairs, or once again you can use moving side to side using these cursors and dragging things. You can physically move it around, either entering data in these fields or dragging these arrow buttons. Radius, you can control the radius specifically on the X and the Y and the Z planes. Okay, and we also have our Make UVs button. Again, we go new, just write dog just for fun. Let's click cylinder because it's a cylinder. Click. Okay, and so texture dog. Let's go to UV, and there you see it unwrapped. Okay, but if I click on that polygon, notice there's something strange that goes on here. Is the fact that you don't actually see this polygon facing in a circle. It's actually flat. It's all the points that are going around are actually been lined up in a straight line. That's why I don't like using the automated stuff. You can actually pull this apart and retry to round it out by hand inside the UV window. That might be really, really hard to do. But this might work perfectly in, say, a situation where you're not actually planning on necessarily UVing the top here, or say you want to UV it separately. You can just select this, okay, but get rid of the UVs in this window, okay, and just by going up to the map tab, so you select the polygons that you don't want as part of the UV map, and you just go clear map. Okay, so that also works. Okay, so I think what we're going to do from here is move on to our next tool.